Let's talk about keyframes in animation. We're going to need to know two terms. The first one is keyframe, and the second one is tween, which is short for in between. So the keyframe is the most important part of the animation. The keyframe are the signposts for where the animation is going to go. For example, you can think of it like a pillar and you have to have two keyframes, at least two keyframes, in order to have an animation. The keyframes act as pillars or props for the in-betweens. So this is an in-between, and these are the keyframes. So how does this work for making motion? Okay, let's take a simple idea here. We want to take a circle and move it across the field to the other side. The animator knows that the circle starts at this position and ends at this position. So that is our keyframes. But with this, we don't have any sense of motion. If we just shot this, it would be a ball flickering from side to side on the screen. So what's to be done? That's where tweens come in. The tweens, or in-betweens, are the frames in between keyframes that give animation that sense of fluidity. Sure, we could have some really cheap animation of a ball on one side of the screen and then flicking to another, or we could add the in-betweens and make it smoothly move instead of being abrupt and jerky. Keyframers are usually the animators that are in charge of acting for the character. They're the ones that make the key poses. And the in-betweeners, and this is where you would start if you went into the industry, fills in the in-betweens between the keyframes to create that smooth motion. The more in-betweens you have between two keyframes, the smoother the motion. Now in After Effects, you'll notice when you drop a keyframe, it's going to look like a little diamond shape on the timeline. And what After Effects does is it looks at how far apart these keyframes are, and let's say you set them apart for 10 seconds. It's going to interpolate the space between the keyframes as tweens. So if you wanted it nice and smooth, it would add lots of keyframes. The tweens in After Effects are generated automatically between two keyframes. Let's take a break and see how the pros do it. The NFB, or National Film Board of Canada, made a whole series of pedagogical animation films. They're provided free on their website, and I gotta tell you, this is one of the single greatest public sources for learning animation there is. The link is located in the weekly content section, week 2, in week 2 external screening links. Have a great time in 1976.